Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Queen Astro's Tarot. Apologies for the absence, but that's life, baby. Let's just hop right into it. Today we are going to take a look at what perspective or view do you have on love? So, what I mean by this is kind of what patterns, subconscious beliefs or other frameworks are kind of framing, how other frameworks are framing how you view love, and maybe that kind of affects how you approach relationships and things like that. We're going to look at both like platonic and more romantic love, so just a whole love spread because Valentine's Day, blah blah blah. And I just did them real clean. So we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4. And just take a second to see if one of the piles looks good to you or one of the numbers sounded good to you. And the timestamps will be below and you can jump straight to your reading. And I would really appreciate before and or after doing this, whenever, if you could like, comment, share, subscribe. Helps my channel grow, and I want to keep doing these, and I want to go real hard and make a lot. So get ready, y'all. Again, so we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. All right, y'all, I will see you at your pile or piles. Bye. Hello, hello. If you're here, you picked pile 1 for what is your framework of love, or how do you currently view love? So let's take a look at the cards. And I pre-pulled these, but I did not pre-look, so it's a surprise for all of us. I'm actually going to start with the tarot deck underneath, which is the Crow Tarot deck. This is an oracle card. We'll save this bad boy for later. But I want to use the Crow deck to look at the more like platonic sort of love in your life. Oops, sorry, I just kicked my light a little bit. And then we'll go to the more romantic viewpoints you sort of currently have or might have and might not know it. But let's see, pile 1. All right, so we've got the 7 of Cups. Interesting. The Page of Cups reversed. Okay, so again, this is on friends. So, but I see like already 2 water cups. 2 water cups. 2 water cards. It's a lot of emotion with your friends. You are connected a little bit. Let's keep going. The 10 of Pentacles, whoops, in reverse. Actually, I'm going to read this one like this. I'm being told to do that. And then the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. So it's funny that I felt like compelled to turn this one right side up, the 10 of Pentacles, because this is such a card of, material, plain wealth and abundance, right? You see these crows here in their beautiful garden with all of their material wealth amongst them, like they can enjoy everything, this sense of completion. It did come here reversed, but I was like, no, we have to put it like this. And I think that's because pile 1, your view on love with friends is sometimes like you feel like you have to pick between like, oh, having this all, quote unquote, whatever that is to you, with your friends or your chosen family, but also this sort of hesitancy with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse to kind of really go for, not a phrase I really like, but having it all. So because right now, pile 1, the way I'm kind of seeing your framework for love with friends, not necessarily romantic interest, but I have so many deep loves with so many of my friends. Like they rival some of my biggest romantic stories ever. So like, and I think that's something you do have pile 1 or want to have with maybe a group of friends or, people already in your life, or people, even the Page of Cups reversed, maybe a group you're newer to, even pile 1, that you're kind of hesitant about. But let me see really quickly. I want to look at, I thought I had all my little books ready. Maybe I won't look at the book. See? Interesting. Okay, so I just wanted to go look at the little, oh my gosh, it's right here. The card clarifier book of this deck, and I kind of panicked when I couldn't see it, even though like I've read these cards before, I know what the cards mean. And pile 1, maybe that's kind of something that resonates with you, where you are kind of re-entering a new friendship group or finally kind of, you know, cutting out the people that aren't really serving you, and maybe you're not serving them. You know, it's not always like, I've outgrown them. I think that's kind of like a weird ego-driven way to view things. You know, sometimes people separate for whatever reasons. Not to say that can't be the case, pile one, but anyway, I wanted to look at the Page of Cups reversed. Although upright, this card celebrates the inner child. Reversed, you or someone you know may be lacking maturity when confronted by a problem. An unwelcome situation may be the result of substance abuse or low emotional intelligence. All right. You may also have unrealistic expectations that prevent you from finishing a project, right? So I think there's, again, really getting this idea of hesitancy because of like these choices in your life, pile one, that may be real or imagined, you know, like, and I say that in the sense that you're like, yeah, I do want to, you know, go out and hang out with my friends, but right now I'm not financially secure and I don't really have the means to go out on the weekends right now. You know, like sometimes we don't have a choice, or there are choices that we have to pick that are literally like, I have to pick this or that. But for you, pile one, just because of this Page of Cups in reverse, I feel like for many of you, maybe that is like a self-imposed limitation that's preventing you, that's keeping you kind of moving slower with your friendships, to get this. And that's not to say that's bad, you know, like slow isn't always bad. You know, we're just such a productivity, optimization, streamlined, oriented culture. And I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge that and say that if you have to move slow through these things, even if they are in your mind, that's all right. That's okay, pile one. You know, that's not a bad thing. Because it's not like all doom and gloom, right? Like you definitely do have like this sort of idea, and maybe like a bit of a romanticized idea, but that's okay. We're talking about love, baby. About having it all with this like group of friends, like especially like look how peaceful this water is with the lilies floating on top. And the thing about these water lilies too is they aren't just like little floating petals on the top of the water. Their stems go like all the way down to the bottom of the body of water, so they're really long rooted, and they take a long time to grow. So I just think that's interesting and maybe something to reflect on, pile one, in terms of how you're viewing your platonic friendships. But let's move into the love, and maybe even it'll kind of help clarify some of the friendship stuff, because obviously, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think, and I'm not a health professional, but I do think it is good to be friends with the person or people you are romantically involved with. I don't know, call me cuckoo bananas, but I think they all kind of play together. But let's get into it, pile one. We've got, Judgment in reverse. Interesting. I love this too. I love the cicada. Can you see this? Just going to do a little rearranging, a little zhuzhing. These 7 of Wands. Okay, the second 7. And interesting too, because even though this is a Wands card, the manatee, I believe it's a manatee, is in this like really brooding, dark, deep body of water, which like signifies to me like emotions. But let's keep going before we unpack that. If this is resonating with you so far, pile one, definitely let me know in the comments. Oh, the 9 of Cups. This is like the wish fulfillment card. I love it so much. And then, wow, the Empress. Okay. Interesting. It's interesting that I feel like you, and I don't want, you know, obviously take this as it is, but it feels like there's less confidence in the friendship realm than there is in the romance realm in terms of how you view love, pile one. Because with the Judgment reversed, I feel like Judgment card kind of like elicits a sort of like, ooh, like, oh no, like I'm in trouble sort of thing. But with it in reverse, it is literally like you are shedding this skin or this judgment maybe you've had on yourself about how you view love or how you think it should turn out. Because especially with the 9 of Cups and the Empress, which to me both read as just such feminine energies, the Empress obviously, but the 9 of Cups too, just for me, just because it is literally the wish fulfillment card. You have this beautiful poodle sitting on a floating pillow that looks very comfortable and cute, and I want it. And the cups are just right above the poodle's head, just kind of floating effortlessly. You know, it's this like culmination, and you see all this like little fairy dust around them too. I'm like, oh, I want this dog. But there is sort of like this giddiness that you have about romantic love, like this idea that yes, I can have everything and like everything can fall into place, like this very like mystical femme energy, even like a dark femme, but I don't mean that in like a toxic way, like manipulate your way into their heart. Like, don't, you know what, do what you want. I'm not here to judge. But maybe that is something in your past, pile one, is maybe you have in order to sort of fulfill this fantasy, you know, like say for example, like you start seeing someone, it's been a couple months, things seem to be going super well, or maybe even sooner. Maybe you're one of those people, and I've definitely been that kind of person that's after like a date, I'm like, I love you. So maybe you're that kind of person too, pile one, where just all so quickly you feel like you kind of toss any judgment away and are ready to build this beautiful dream life with a person or people. Pile one, interesting. Because it is like a very powerful energy and a very positive energy, but I do feel like with this Seven of Wands, pile one, there can be, maybe for some of you, a tendency to almost like self-isolate as you create these fantasies, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, you're building this dream in your head, but you're not really, like, you're just in limerence, or you're enamored with a person. And again, kind of dismissing any, I don't want to use the word red flags, but, you know, any sort of red flags, I guess, which we all do, you know, when you're falling in love, even their burps are adorable, sort of thing. But Pawan, I think there is maybe, again, for some of you, I'm not saying this for everyone, sorry, just hit my light, take it as it is, to, again, sort of build this idea of somebody and, you know, kind of be in this, like, permanent crush state, if that makes sense. Where, you know, you're having interactions with them, but you're not, like, things aren't moving forward and you can't get a read on them, and you're, you know, just in that constant sort of like, do they like me? I don't know, sort of state. And again, that's not to say that's bad, pile one. But like, yeah, almost a resistance to reality. Or not like, you know, like delusional, but you know, maybe the person you're crushing on has kind of made it clear they're not into you, and it fucking sucks. Oops, I swore. But you're like, I can make things happen though. Because literally, the Seven of Wands is about like perseverance, competition, resistance. I'm reading from the book right now, and I'll link it in the comments. But when upright, the Seven of Wands suggests you've accomplished something worthy of recognition, but once all eyes are turned to you, there's a high possibility that there will be naysayers and critics waiting for the chance to say their piece. You're about to undergo a harsh period of criticism, and much of it will feel undeserved. Don't be afraid to defend yourself, but be aware that the brighter you shine, the more people will want to see you fall. Part of the challenge of creating something amazing is providing others that your success is deserved. Work hard, believe in what you've done, and know that this adversity will make you stronger. So maybe to some people that was like, yeah, I'm going to fight harder. And you know what? If you feel like this person is worth it and, you know, you feel healthy about it, do it. I'm not a doctor or a therapist. Pile one. But this view can be skewed. But also I think there is like a kind of a beauty to it where, again, like this cicada shell with the judgment reverse, it's like this ability to let go of the previous wounds, even if you have like been in positions where you're like, oh, I've had crushes on people, or the past like 2 or 3 people I had crushes on did not reciprocate and it really sucked. But you do have this amazing ability to be like, you know what? That's okay. But I think this is also serving as like kind of like a little nudge to be like, if you are feeling down about that pile one, to not get into that self-critical mode, to not like look at that shell of you, that past version of yourself, and be like, oh, that's still me, because guess what? It's not. If a rejection happened, it happened, and it's not always pleasant. Trust me, I've been on the side of rejection more often than not, my friends. But yeah, I'm just reading from the book. When reversed, judgment usually signifies that self-doubt has taken root, trapping you in a quagmire, ooh, what a fun word, of inaction, right? This kind of waiting. Find support in people you trust and take comfort in knowledge that absolution will greet you once the decision is made. Shed your past selves. Something grander awaits, and it's time to grasp this moment of rebirth without fear, which again, I think is such a big kudos to you, pile one. It's like you do have this ability, and I think there's sort of like a warning where it's like you could fall into this holding on pattern. But on the flip side, because you are so capable of seeing the good in people and like seeing like the best of all possible romantic scenarios, something magical can or could be already happening for you, pile one. Interesting. We are going to close this reading with one of my favorite decks, the Empath Activation Cards Tarot deck, or not tarot deck, Oracle deck. And I love it. If you've watched my other videos, you know. But I love it because the art on the other side is meant to like activate the energy that the card's all about within the viewer. So let's view it, y'all. You got, oh my gosh, the Great Year 44. What a gorgeous card. I think it's just like such like a, at the risk of sounding super crunchy, such a beautiful sort of symbiotic, complete feeling pattern. You know, it doesn't feel chaotic. It feels purposeful and beautiful. And even if some of these bigger red ones, which I would like imagine as like big loves or heartaches or low points or whatever, like it's all brought you here, right? Like all these little beep beep boop bop ups, maybe like in your romantic and friendship loves has brought you here, pile one, and you're like, well, yeah, no shit, everything that I've done has brought me here. But I mean, for a reason, right? And that's not to, you know, in any ways justify abuse or toxic relationships or anything like that. But you are here right now. You're alive. You're watching this video. So that's means you have a phone, at least. And you do have this ability to like really, the Great Year with the Nine of Cups just tells me like your views on love are just expanding into a way that allow you to really bring in this like sense of completion and wholeness within like all the loves of your life, be it friends, livers, or even like if it's your big love is a passion project or music, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a person per se. But I'm going to read from the book really quickly for this card because they're so dense in their meaning. I just want to make sure I'm giving you everything, pile one. Giving you everything. Yeah, your soul is ancient, beloved star child, and you have been around the galaxy, so to speak. There's an innate understanding deep in your memory banks of the vast cycles of time that occur as all the celestial bodies and phenomena in the universe travel through space and time. So I'm scanning right now if you want to like, comment, subscribe, because it's like very like, it's like several pages. And again, I'll link this in the description. It is vital to the expression of your cosmic mission to recognize and embrace that you chose to incarnate precisely into the body, family, country, and year that you exist in now. Your life experiences, wounding, trauma, disappointments, losses, and all, have exclusively prepared you to become the unique and perfect agent of your soul purpose. You're an evolutionary empath equipped with a highly refined nervous system, an upgraded energetic physiology, a natural inclination for communicating with all forms of sentient beings, and a set of ideals that value cooperation, compassion, love, service, and grace. Yeah, your soul is telling you to get going now. So, like, don't languish. Did I use it right? You know what I mean. Don't just sit around sort of things, pile one. Whatever urges you have felt to change jobs, elevate your spiritual or energy practices, study with a new teacher, or increase the visibility of your sacred work, you have a green light from the universe. I think this is just a really beautiful reading, pile one. I see a lot of perseverance in you and totally understand that there's hesitancy with getting into new things or new groups or new people. But you do have this just gorgeous ability to shed these older versions of yourself. And it's all been building up to this, whatever this is to you, pile one. I feel like as soon as I said this, you had an idea of what this was, if that makes sense. And with that, pile one, that concludes your reading on what your current perspective on love is. If you liked this video, found it insightful or a little silly, please like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you so, so much for hanging out with me and going through this reading with me. I really had fun, and can't wait to hear from you. All right. Bye, loves. Hello, hello. If you are here, you picked pile 2 for what are your current views on love, both of the platonic and more romantic notions. So before we hop into it, I'm going to explain how I'm going to do this a little bit. Pile 2, I've got 2 different tarot decks. This is for your romantic sort of outlook, and this is for your platonic or friendship-oriented viewpoint on love. And again, this is kind of like how you view it, maybe how it's informing your decisions or choices or ideas of people, that kind of stuff. And then pile 2, just that kind of stuff. Pile 2, we're going to close with an oracle card from the empath activation cards that will probably, hopefully, give you a little more insight into how your current perspective on love is meant to kind of help you continue to grow, or how to, maybe let go of patterns in love and relationships that no longer serve you. All right, pile 2. So let's hop to it. Again, we're going to start with friends. And if you hear a little whistling in the background, it's one of my dogs snoring. Anyway, pile 2, let's go with friendship, love. What is your view on that? All right, we've got the King of Wands in reverse. Should right side up for you for a second. Interesting. Such a powerful card. Strength in reverse. 2 of Swords. And the World in reverse. Interesting, pile 2. These reversals, don't panic, because I know some folks can just say reversals and automatically assume that they're they're all the quote-unquote negative traits of the card, but that is not the case, pile 2. Not the case. It feels like, pile 2, maybe your current view or outlook on love in friendships, or, forming friendships or close bonds with people in a non-romantic capacity. It might feel like, or you might feel like, you've been kind of taken advantage of in the past, or manipulated, especially with the King of Wands and Strength in reverse next to each other, pile 2. And I think it's so interesting. They both have the infinity sign here. They both have the lions, which I think is interesting for the King of Wands in a Crow tarot deck, So definitely something fiery, Leo vibes. Obviously, I'm getting you felt burnt. You felt like maybe you were the one running around for somebody, or hoping that things would change for the better in friendship or a friendship group. You feel like the odd one out maybe sometimes, pile 2. And that's not to say always, but maybe even though this is just one lion, I say larger groups just because it's bigger than the crow. It could just be one person, one big personality that you feel in a friend group or, social setting that kind of can be domineering. On the flip side, maybe that's you, pile 2, but I am getting the feeling that maybe you feel more like the crow than the lion in this scenario. I really quickly want to look at the little book from this deck, pile 2, to see the Strength in reverse, just because it's just so interesting to me. In the traditional Strength card, you see somebody prying open the lion's mouth, but here the crow's just standing on top of them, maybe jabbing them in the eye with their foot. Hold on, look at this, y'all. You see this? She's like, ugh. So a different kind of strength, a manipulative sort of strength, right? Now the prying open, it's like, oh, I'm going to jab you in the friggin' eye so you scream in pain. Now your mouth's open. So maybe, I don't know, pile two, maybe you've been like a little, and this is not a judgment thing, but, use tactics that were more passive aggressive than direct with people. And maybe it's kind of like fed this cycle a little bit, pile two. And this isn't for everybody. And this isn't to say that your reaction to this person wasn't valid, or, the feelings you had rather weren't valid, of like anger or feeling used or what have you. But the cycle continues when you jab them in the eye. You know what I mean? When you stab someone in the eye, they don't like that. Yeah, when reversed, strength may be warning you that you are not in control of your emotions and that your motives are fear or ego-based. Ask yourself if your strength comes from power or force. Interesting, pile two. And then with the Two of Swords, and again, we're still on friends right now, but I think this is important just because I said this in pile one. I am of the belief you want to be friends with your lover or lovers. So I think knowing about how you act in friendships is foundational to, looking at your perspective on love romantically. If that makes sense, pile two. Let me know if that makes sense to y'all. And the blindfolded crow, like, she balances herself on these blades, and she's not able to see, like, what comes next, so she's not moving. But I imagine it's not very comfortable standing on those blades blindfolded. But if she didn't have the blindfold, she'd just fly up and she'd be free, right? I don't know if crows can just 90 degree it like that, like a helicopter, but she would find a way, right? She's afraid of making a dangerous or painful mistake. The Two of Swords suggests you may find it difficult to make a significant decision because you feel you're unable to see the full picture or that there's valuable information that is being withheld, right? So that's, I think, where the World in Reverse comes in, pile two, on this friendship group. I am like sensing like a good amount of stress in it, where it's like you can't see, or like the world you do see is like completely upside down and cuckoo bananas and not what you want. And because you can't see a future where this pattern or cycle stops and then the world is actually okay, doesn't exist in your mind, at this point, pile two, this is very interesting. Like, I feel like pile one, their friend reading was a little more succinct, but this is pile two. You got stuff. I don't want to be like, you got stuff going on, because we all got stuff going on, but there's meat. There's meat here, pile two. Yeah, reverse. This card can indicate you are trying to finish a project. However, you may have lost sight of the original vision and you're now stuck trying to figure out the next step. It's about the world reversed. You may also have experienced a break in a relationship without the closure needed to move on. Oh, pile two. Take the time to look inward, as your internal compass will point you in the right direction and help the world right itself once again. So yeah, there's this like fear of moving forward because like this is just an example. I don't know, you were out with a group of friends and one of your friends thought it'd be funny to, mimic your singing voice, and they kind of did a job that was unflattering and you're still hurt by it. I don't know why that example came to mind, but it did. Instead of like this, like back and forth, just literally just tell the person like, hey man, that, like everyone else was laughing, but that kind of hurt my feelings. And it feels silly to bring it up. I mean, you don't have to frame it with that, but you can be like, I know I'm bringing it up a few months or, time after the fact, but it has kind of been bugging me. And I just wanted to talk about it with you because, I value our friendship and I want to not be stuck in this mindset or what have you, pile two. All right, let's look at your view on love, pile two. Ooh, oh my gosh, I thought my light was falling on me. Sorry, guys. I thought the light above my phone was literally going to go ka-bonk. Anyway, pile two, your view on love, your perspective or framework of how you view love romantically. Okay, we've got the Six of Cups reversed and the Lammies. Let me move this up. Can you see? Can you see? I swear I had this framed, y'all. It's funny how I'm having all these like, nervous things during this part. All right. Anyway, the Hierophant, upright. The devil. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that's scary. It's not scary. This is a badass card. And Three of Wands. I think it's so funny that okay, I'm seeing. So yeah, with the Six of Cups in reversed, it's kind of similar to the friendship one, pile two. There might be someone or relationship from your past that either like something of it, and this doesn't have to be like, oh, you're holding on to somebody who doesn't want you. I mean, maybe that's the case, but like it might be like, oh, you're holding on to an anger from like a past love that like, you know, other people or the other person or people you're involved with kind of view in like, oh, nice, sweet, romantic way. Like, oh, like this is such like a nostalgia cup. Like we were young in love. It wasn't going to last, you know, oh, but you know, it was pretty. It was pretty. Where you're like, it was pretty. Don't you remember X, Y, Z? Like there's stuff you're like still kind of maybe holding on to, pile two, from, you know, whether you're with somebody or not, from a past relationship that's either preventing you from moving forward or that still kind of colors how you view prospective romantic partners. Because then you got the Hierophant. And I think it's interesting that these are the lambs, and then this is like a grown-ass ram. Or ram. Yep, I said it right. My brain is good, y'all. My brain is good. I'm going to flip through the book really quickly just to get a quicker or a more in-depth look at this. But while I am, please, pile two, if this is resonating with you, like, comment, tell me what is, subscribe, all that jazz. Yeah, okay. A ram stands poised between two pillars, yoked. He is yoked. She's friggin' strong. In a triangle. Though rams are aggressive creatures, they symbolize stability, structure, and eternity. Oh. The Scottish black-faced ram is a hardy breed that can survive and even thrive in harsh conditions by understanding their dominion well. The Hierophant can likewise find stability in his dominion over the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Though seen as a beacon of tradition, the Hierophant is knowledgeable and can flow with change. We are reminded to find knowledge in all places, uphold our values, and follow our morals. But remember that change is inevitable. Interesting. So I think with the stillness and stability pile too, hold on, I'm going to get a quick drink of water really quickly. Like there is, like you recognize, there's part of you that recognizes like this need for stability within relationships or within the way you view love. Like maybe you're aware of like some patterns that aren't serving you anymore. Like again, if you're like holding on to anger from something an ex did like 5 years ago and it's like, this is hurting you more than them. Like there's things I think you're starting to understand, pile two, in terms of how you view love and how to heal from past relationships and how to actually grow and use the knowledge to enter new relationships in a healthier manner, or, you know, if you're involved with somebody, how to continue that growth in a way that doesn't stagnate, leave either of you like feeling like you're atrophying or stuck or repeating cycles that aren't serving either of you or any of you. And then we got, again, it's not a scary card, the Devil. And I love this because it's I forget what kind of exact carnivorous plant it is, but it's like a bell plant where it's like a really sweet, gooey gel on the inside of it that attracts bugs, and then they fall in and they like drown in it's not their stomachs, but their digestive enzymes and absorb the bug. And I think what's so interesting about that with the Devil card pile two is like, yeah, maybe there have been things you've digested that you still feel are clinging onto you, like this praying mantis about to come here, which I also think is interesting because praying mantises are the ones where after they copulate, the lady, or rather the female praying mantis, decapitates and eats the male praying mantis. We don't know what sex this one is. But anyway, to wrap up that ramble pile two, I think this is like specifically saying like there's things from your past lovers that you still need to digest, right? Like it's still kind of hanging on. And maybe there is like a sort of need for you, pile two, to kind of just like steady yourself and like maybe not always be moving forward, or like chasing something new romantically to kind of forget about what's going on here, but a need to actually wait, or not wait, allow time to do what it needs to do, to like reflect and let the thing digest so you can move forward. And especially here, like such an uplifting card to get, pile two, the Three of Wands. This is a little sugar glider, aka a little flying squirrel. He's got like 3 little twiggies in his tail, ready to go. Like he looks like he packed up a little bag. He's ready to just, launch off that branch and glide into a beautiful, bright future. But you will notice like how alert that they look though, right? Like that eye is like, I got to make sure I know my path, because this branch, where's it hanging on to? We don't know. Do we, pile two? But I think that, again, speaks to your character that, like, once this digestion is allowed to happen, pile two, whatever that means to you, I'm not a therapist or medical professional. Do what you need to do to do your digesting. But then once you kind of like take this leap, like after you've done that, like you're going to be able to leap with like bright eyes, pure heart. Like you really can't lose in love. And I think that's like a really healthy perspective to have on love and relationships. Like, yeah, maybe it takes some time, or maybe there is like a situation that like you feel like particularly stuck on right now, but you have in the past and will continue to be able to digest and like move forward. Again, whatever that means, like whether it's a breakup or, moving into a new phase of relationship with somebody, getting out of old unhealthy patterns with a person, whatever that might mean to you. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the book. Wow, I just said scrolling through a physical book. Good, great. Thanks for hanging with me, y'all. I do like to do this a lot, and I appreciate you listening to my yammering as I talk to you about your love lives. Definitely let me know in the comments if this is hitting for you. I want to know, pile two. I want to know. All right, yes. Productivity, expansion, effort. This little guy, yee. When upright, the Three of Wands suggests that your plans for the future are well underway and progressing as we speak. You may be gliding along, the endpoint in sight, and wondering if now is the time to explore even more opportunities while on your current path. You've prepared well for this moment. Be aware of challenges that still remain ahead of you, but don't be afraid to expand your goals in the moment. The work you've done to get to this point will carry you further than you first intended, and now's the time to think big. Stay committed to the path, and you may be surprised just how far you'll fly. Oh, pile two. I think that's such a healthy, awesome perspective to have on love. And what's interesting too, it's like you may not know everything. Like, yeah, maybe there's still, again, some digesting to be done. And it's so funny to have like literally a sugar glider that can go woo, 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 all over the place, to the Hierophant, which is very like, here I am, stable, earthbound. And I think with like your perspective on love, or how you, sort of process love, I guess, is like a little bit of both, but it's about keeping that balance, right? So you can actually digest. It's not just, staying in every day and just being like, okay, one day I'll get over this. One day I'll get over this. And it's not also like, I'm running around everywhere because if I run around, I don't have to think. Being busy is great. Pile two. But let's check in with your empath activation card to see a little more. I think it's going to definitely like tie this all together for us, pile two, on your sort of holistic view on love. Wow, okay, mental discipline. If you haven't been here before, I use this deck often, and one of my favorite things about it is that the art is designed to activate the energy of the card within the viewer. And so with mental discipline, you can see how beautiful and intricate this is. This card is absolutely talking about how it can be easy to go bing, 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 boom, bum, 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 like, right, bounce between back and forth, on how you move forward in any sort of relationship, be it platonic or otherwise. And like this sort of over analytical or like looking at everything all the time framework is just keeping you like almost like a ping pong, or not ping pong ball. Well, I guess a ping pong ball. I was thinking a pinball. Either of those balls. Like it has you kind of like frantic or running around. And this activation card is really calling for you to sort of be able to be like, almost the way I think of it is like as if your mind were a radio receiver, or, you know, received radio, like, you know, frequencies. And instead of like when I receive something that's like panic, 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 I don't hold on to it because I'm like, that's not me. That's a feeling that I am, you know, primed to feel because of, you know, past situations and this and that. But that is not currently where I am, right? Like, this is a situation I'm thinking in my head that's making me feel a panic. I am safe right now. I currently do not have anything to panic about. That is not a thought I choose to let be intrusive. Wow, I'm talking real well today, pile two. Sorry, it does get kind of hard to talk while doing this, which is very silly because most of it is talking. But there's this need for you to kind of hone in on thoughts that age you instead of like, you know, fixating in the past or using like manipulative tactics to try to rectify situations, pile two. And that isn't to say to fall into a cult of toxic positivity and just, you know, be like, the universe will provide, and just like sit around with a like fake smile plastered on your face. Like, obviously the real world is real. We live here, y'all. You gotta keep living. I think it's really just a reminder for you, pile two, and all your sort of relationship endeavors is to, you know, really hone in that focus, whatever that means for you, and kind of let the fray slip away. Yeah, and that I think I'm going to conclude your reading there, pile two. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this brought you some insight or clarity or something of that ilk. And if it did, please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. And until next time, I will see you next time. Bye, pile two. Hello. If you are here, you picked pile three for what is your current perspective on love? And pile three, just to give you a little, as I bump my head into the light, set it up very weird today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of how this reading is going to work today. I pulled two different tarot decks, pre-pulled, did not pre-look, so it's fun for everyone. But these are going to look at more of like your romantic perspective of love. And then what we're going to start with is more of like your platonic views on love. So like friendship love, just because I kind of view that as foundational for romantic love. And then we'll close your reading with an oracle card from the empath activation cards. Yeah, so let's just hop right into it, pile three. Let's see, what are your views on love? We've got the Hanged Man in reverse. And this is for like friendship, platonic love, if you will, which can be deep and beautiful. The Three of Swords. The Seven of Cups. And the Tower in reverse. Very interesting, pile three. So maybe you've had a rough go with some friendships, especially with the Tower and the Hanged Man in reverse, kind of like this sense of moving away from certain friendships or friend groups, maybe because there was the Three of Swords for me kind of does signify something romantic in nature that maybe did not pan out, or maybe two people or, people in the group started dating or got romantically involved and things got messy. And maybe pile 3, you almost felt like this was something you had to leave just because the emotional baggage was too heavy, right? Like something got destroyed. And this might not be, textbook for everybody, but like something, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic thing that blew up a friend group, because the swords are also about air, or like mental realms, so to speak. So it could just be something that you were passionate about, with a friend group, like some sort of disagreement that brought things to an end, right? Where it's like, I'm kind of, for lack of a better term, dying on this hill. Like, this is the one I choose, even if it means you go away. So maybe that's something that happened recently in friendship, and I'm sorry if that is the case, because that is tough to go through, no matter how you sort of slice it, pile 3. But really quickly, just to get a little more in depth to the 2 major arcana that showed up for you, I'm going to look at the guidebook, but definitely let me know, pile 3, if this is resonating with you so far. Yeah, the reversed hangman feels as though he has been putting in too much effort compared to the amount of success he is seeing. So maybe this was like, something you've kind of experienced in friend groups where you feel like you put a lot of effort in, pile 3, and that effort is not reciprocated. And so you've historically felt the need to leave groups or friend groups or social settings, what have you. It may also point to a person who has lost faith in his or their idea and is ready to give up without doing the necessary spiritual work that would help in finding a solution. Okay, that's a hangman reversed. And then the tower reversed. Okay, interesting. Change is inevitable, and when the tower appears in reverse, it is a sign that you are doing everything in your power to prevent the necessary course of action. In doing so, you are delaying the experience you need to learn from to move forward. So let's say in pile 3, if this is resonating with you, this is just an example. Say you're the person in the friend group who's always like making the birthday plans, or like you're always the one who brings cupcakes. You're really good at remembering people's birthdays, and even like no matter the friend group, you're the person who's buying the donuts and bringing them to the group, and everyone's like super stoked on it, and it's great, but you're kind of always the one doing it. Like, and you're kind of irked, like, well, why isn't anybody stepping up, or why am I the one who always does this, when it was never really, necessarily something everyone talked about, but in your or this isn't like a feeling you've expressed, and the frustration can come with them just not understanding that part of your love language is like having other people pitch in, they just assume like, oh, so-and-so just likes doing this and it's really cool of them to do. What a cool thing for them to do. And like, maybe you're like, well, no, like, yeah, I like doing it, but I shouldn't be the only one. Like, some friends you are, like, you're kind of painting people with, or could be painting people with these sort of perceptions, which is kind of like left you or had you in situations where you felt it was necessary to leave. Like, there was just too much to even deal with. And instead of taking the time to be like, oh, maybe if I was frustrated that I was the only one remembering birthdays, I should have said something, or, made it explicit that for my birthday, joke that so-and-so is in charge of cupcakes or something like that, it's hard to put yourself out there. And when unspoken expectations are not met, it can be infuriating, but no one's a mind reader. And I think that's something like I've definitely worked to unlearn, pile 3, is this idea that if somebody loves you or cares about you, they should automatically know what you want, because no, that's not how brains work. Like, I think about, 5 people in your life right now. What do they need right in this moment? Do you know? No. Does that make you a bad friend or companion or partner? No. We're humans, and we can't always anticipate other people's needs. Like, sometimes we can, sure. And like, that isn't to say, people should be oblivious to you, pile 3, but I think there is a difference between having neglectful people in your life and having people who aren't aware of your needs. the needs that are not being met that are frustrating you. Does that make sense? Pile 3. But yeah, let's look definitely let me know in the comments if this hits home or doesn't or what have you. But let's take a look, pile 3, at the romance department, how you view love romantically in a sexy way. Okay, we've got death. And I'm just laughing because, like, what a silly card to open up with. I love these loxodals, I think they're called. They're so cute. Don't panic, y'all. This is a beautiful card. Justice reversed. Wow, a lot of big major arcana in your spread, pile 3. So a lot of big themes going on, which I know can feel like a lot at sometimes. Like if you feel like there's, emotional turmoil coming at you from all ends, but this is good. King of Cups. Ah, such a beautiful King of Cups too. And holy smokes, y'all, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. How fun that this is right under the Tower in reverse. So again, this is like not saying this is what's going to happen, pile 3. It's saying this is your current perspective on love. And with the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse right under each other, like that to me just screams that maybe in the past there have been situations you fled just for fear of the fallout. And if it was for safety reasons, like, yes, 100%, there are absolutely situations we just have to leave, cut and run sort of thing. But if you find yourself or have been able to reflect on past experiences and felt like, oh, maybe I was a little reactive, and had I taken some time, like, could have moved forward differently. Because with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse under that Tower, I'm going to read from the book really quickly just so I really get it for y'all, pile 3. This has kind of been an intense one, but I'm really enjoying it. I feel like even if you're like, this is not exactly what I've been experiencing, just being able to like think about these ideas and patterns, like if you're like, oh, I don't know if I've actually thought about that, and you're like, oh no, that isn't me, like, and you do take that time to actually reflect, that's still a good exercise to do, to get to know yourself and how you navigate the world, Okay, Wheel of Fortune reversed. Upheaval, misfortune, setbacks. So this is kind of, again, this isn't saying this is what's going to happen. This is what you tend to perceive. When reversed, the Wheel of Fortune can be a sign your luck is about to take a sizable hit. Fortune will not favor you in the days ahead, so be mindful of what led you to your present circumstances. Prepare to take responsibility for them if you overstepped your authority. Be mindful of any lessons that can be learned from these hardships and use them to take back control. Changing one's destiny starts from within. This position may also be a sign that you've become stuck in your ways, right? Like this pattern or habit, pile 3. Resisting change can do more harm than good, so be open to new ways of thinking or behaving. Resist stagnating for the sake of maintaining the familiar. Fortunately, and ironically, this position may also signify you reach the end of a negative cycle. Right? So that line about resist stagnating for the sake of maintaining the familiar, guilty as charged, y'all. Like, I've definitely, absolutely in my life been in patterns or habits where I'm like, I know this is not serving me. I know that, I could move forward with this goal or idea in a way that is joyful and, brings me success, but that would require me to start a new routine or cut certain life habits out. And that's scary, and our bodies are hardwired for routine, so it can be hard to break those habits, pile 3. But I really think, with your viewpoint right now, it's like the scaredness to let this part of you die, or this perspective that you have die. It's weird because it's I think you're very aware of this perspective you have, pile 3, of love and relationships, and how maybe you've in the past been triggered, and how you are going to be able to move forward and heal from this. And I do want to sidebar really quickly and just, reiterate, healing is not linear. It's not like, oh, I did it, I healed. Some days you can feel awesome, some days you don't. That's no judgment at all. Endings, change, transition. When upright, death reminds you that a season of change is coming. Perhaps you are undergoing a great transformation or saying goodbye to a particularly long and meaningful chapter in your life. New possibilities are on the horizon, and there's no need to be fearful of what comes next. You're taking the next step on your journey, and even if it is abrupt or unexpected, try to go into it with optimism. Change can be a cleansing, healing force. Let go of unhealthy attachments and walk forward with your head held high. Every ending is an opportunity for a new beginning. So interesting, pile 3. It's like there's so much strength in you. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I feel compelled to keep saying this, but like I feel like there's such a self-awareness about this group where it's like I sense these patterns that might not be serving me, and I'm learning to move forward, and I just think that's really friggin' cool. Yeah, because this is all about like balance, compassion, and like that includes compassion with yourself, pile 3. And I think that's like, again, with these like kind of cut and run situations or what have you, you're starting to feel like more compassionate towards people in general and kind of, you know, understand that maybe not everything was a personal attack or meant to hurt you. That doesn't excuse the act or what happened, but being able to see it from other perspectives is giving you this balance in life and like allowing you to heal, especially like romantically, I feel, pile 3. Mastery over emotions, creativity, and the subconscious. The work you've done to cultivate poise and control is finally paying off, and now it's time to use this newfound balance to guide you away from the drama and towards absolute success, right? The drama, pile 3. Intuition can be bolstered with logic, and the more you rely on this combination to guide you, the more people will seek you out for guidance in their own lives. Act as a leader who cares about the success of a project, but also the well-being of those who help you pursue it, right? Again, that compassion, that empathy. Be compassionate to others and don't shy away from being a mentor or guide if the opportunity arises. You worked hard to get to this point, and it's time for you to guide others down the path too. That's really cool, pile 3. That's cool to be like, I see myself healing and learning, and there is something I want to share with people, like both in a romantic sense and I think even in a friend sense. Like this just like kind of like radiates for me, pile 3. Such a cool energy. All right. To close out your reading, pile 3, on your perspective on love, we are going to take a look at your empath activation card. And if you've been here before, you know this is one of my favorite decks because the artwork is designed to activate the energy within the viewer of, the life, pattern, cycle, what have you. You know what I mean, jelly beans. Here we go, pile 3. Whoa. Greatest wound, greatest medicine. Holy shit. I mean, shoot. Wow. That just makes so much sense with your spread, pile 3. Sorry, I'm just like shaking my head just like wow. Oops, sorry, I just hit my light again. But wow. I'm going to read from the book for this one just because like I'm kind of speechless right now at how I'm like, oh, it just all makes sense. It just all makes sense. Like you are on such a good path with your like view on love, even if you have come from like a turbulent past, pile 3. Yeah, whether you are aware of precisely what your medicine is, or if this is the first time you've considered it from this perspective, know that you are ready to serve and support a larger audience, right? Like spreading that, what were we saying, pile 3? Like spreading this love, this new knowledge that you've had when like in this time of reflection and like, letting go of this like kind of like when I see the justice in reverse, like this almost vindictive need for justice or, justice as you had seen it, like you've kind of let that go and found this like inner balance. Your wisdom, compassion, perspective, and skills are needed. No one knows the nitty gritty, real life obstacles, fears, and consequences of your experience like you do. That said, there are thousands who have experienced similar trauma. They need you. They need your voice, your example, your encouragement, and your mentorship. Consider being for them the safe haven and guiding light you always wished you had. Oh my gosh. Pile 3. Not gonna lie, this has been my favorite pile so far. It seems like, many of you might have had like a rough go, and I apologize, or, I am sorry that you had to go through those traumatic experiences, but you just seem so strong and like you're ready to kind of share your knowledge that you've gained through this because you are healing and you are in like all perspectives of love, like able to kind of let go of like more reactive tendencies, I feel, and move towards something a little more empathetic and compassionate, and not just with other people, but with yourself, which I think is, the most important love to consider, pile 3. And I'm going to close your reading on that. Thank you so, so much for being here. If this resonated with you, you know the drill. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. And I really do hope that this brought some insight to your day or whatever it is you needed. And until next time, I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, hello. If you are here, you picked pile 4 for what is/are your current views or perspectives on love. And before we hop into it, pile 4, I'm going to do a little breakdown of how this reading is going to work. I pre-picked, but did not pre-look from 2 tarot decks. These bad boys are going to be for your romantic perspective. And we're going to start with your platonic or friendship perspective, just because I do think that that is foundational to how your romantic prospects or goggles, for lack of a better word, are informed. And then finally, pile 4, we're going to take a look at an oracle card from the empath activation deck. That kind of will, I really feel, they have in the past 3 readings already, really just tie everything together for you. So let's hop to it, pile 4. Here we friggin' go. This is your current framework or viewpoint, or how, maybe various patterns or things from your past have shaped how you view friendship, love, justice. Oh, what a cool friggin' card. The 2 of Pentacles in reverse. King of Pentacles. It's a fun guy. And then, ooh, the High Priestess. Wow, big friendship feelings, pile 4. Wow. It's so interesting because I feel like this is like a fairly positive read in terms of how your friendship lens or how you view friend love. There does seem to be a sense of balance, and with the High Priestess, almost like an alchemy or something magical and very nurturing about your friendships even. Especially with these 2 kind of book ending your reading, pile 4, it does feel like there is how you view friendship, it should have all of these sort of, for lack of a better word, magical components. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. How the justice, this crow, you see how its wings are spread, they have nothing to hide. I feel like that's how you view friendship love. It's unconditional. It's bearing all. It's, even if there are issues or problems, just everything in the open, honesty, which is interesting with the High Priestess, because I don't want to there's something a little less transparent about the High Priestess, right? The intuition, it's just a gut feeling or knowing, which I mean, to be clear, you can also be very honest and open about oh, I have a bad feeling about this, or I have a great feeling about this. Intuition. But they do seem very pile 4, the way love and friendships for you works, it almost feels like this is automatically expected, this intuition, either you already know how to seek out people in your as friends who have this ability to be transparent with you, or you hope or desire, or something you look for in a friend or desire out of a friend is to have this innate ability to kind of not know everything, all of your needs, but be able to just be in tune with you, for lack of a better term. And part of being in tune is no, you can't really lie to somebody when you're in that zone, you just can't. I don't know how to describe it. Let me take a look at the little book for the King of Pentacles. Let me know if this is ringing true for you, pile 4 so far. It's like it's a very cool energy. I don't know how else to describe it. I think one day I'd remember what order the suits are in this book, but you'd be wrong, y'all. Yeah, it would be hard for the life to get any better for this King Crow. His savvy skills earned him abundance of riches, and he lives the most luxurious lifestyle. His heart is pure gold with wings outstretched. He shares all that he has accumulated, from material possessions to his acquired knowledge, right? Like this bearing all, giving all, very open, loving, compassionate sort of energy. Yeah, he's always ready to help those around him reach their potential. Yeah, like almost like a very guidance, or like you are the person in the friend group that people like look to when they're like maybe having an issue they don't know how to deal with. Like you are very much a strong, I keep saying honest, but like just like present person, which is awesome. And I think that's a great way to approach friendship. What's interesting is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. The reverse Two of Pentacles is a signal that you are at risk or have already lost focus, and the result could be a loss of financial security. Make sure that you are up to date on bills and other obligations before you drop another ball. So maybe pile 4, and this might not be for everybody, but for some of you, maybe part of that, like being able to give advice and, be the one people turn to in a hard time. Maybe you view friendships as sometimes financially straining because, boundaries around money have not been set. Like maybe you've loaned money to people and, haven't gotten it back, or, you overextend yourself in ways to be that good friend that might, obviously be harmful if you're putting yourself in financial instability to keep up like an appearance of this. And that isn't to say you are, but, for some folks that resonates, money boundaries are weird. They're really weird. Like it's hard to, especially if people know you're earning more than they are, if they're in a tough spot. It's either, be willing to part with that money and know you're never going to get it back, or draw that boundary. Because that in between of being like, oh, well, once they're on their feet, they'll pay me back. And this isn't to, disregard or, shame any friends or people who are struggling, but it's hard. It's really hard out there. So they might be struggling for a while at like, no fault of their own, even if, they're doing everything in their power to get on their feet. But that doesn't mean you have to financially be there for them the entire time, if that makes sense. As a little tangent, but I think worth noting, especially if you do like, kind of have it all, like if you are in a good position, and that isn't, again, this isn't to say like, don't share with your friends, like obviously do what you feel comfortable with, but don't feel the need to overextend yourself just because like maybe there's guilt around making more money than them or having more financial security than they do. Yeah, let's keep going, pile 4. This is a really interesting group. Now we're going to take a look at your how do you view love through a romantic partnership or relationship or group or whatever floats your boat romantically sort of way. All right, we've got the King of Cups. So many kings. All 2 of them. But it's interesting that, obviously this one is a bird because it's from the Crow deck, but I didn't realize that the Knight of Cups was also a bird. Interesting. 6 of Swords reversed. This poor guy. Interesting that this is lining up under here. I think, okay, let's see what these are. I'm going to be... Okay, the 3 of Swords reversed. And then oh, how pretty, 4 of Wands. Also, side note, this is, everything is here, again, Crow deck, doy, but bird, bird, bird. Like Bambi, bird, bird, bird. Very interesting Pile 4, to me that tells me like a lot of, you're in your head a lot about your relationships, and that isn't to say like in a bad way, but like you're proactive about how you approach things. Like you are calculated, and I don't mean that in like an American Psycho way, but you know, you act with intention. There we go. That's the way I wanted to phrase it. Pile 4. Yeah, wow. This is such a friggin' gorgeous, gorgeous spread. Because to me, sorry, I'm trying to get my like thoughts together, but also just like not gonna rush myself, blah, blah, blah. I feel with this Knight of Cups, it's such a passionate, you know, with all the red, like almost like fire, sort of energy that you have around romantic relationships, and it's beautiful. I'm gonna look at the book really quickly, but definitely let me know if this is like ringing any bells for y'all. Yeah, care, romance, artistry. Like I said, you like act with intention. Like you like courting people or being courted. Like you like the, I don't want to say the theater of it all, but you know, the game of it all. That's the romance, right? The being wined and dined. And this is a bird of paradise. A bird of paradise stands on the edge of a golden cup brimming with fruits. Birds of paradise are resplendent symbols of freedom, creativity, romance, and charm. Yeah, like I said, you like to be, you know, courted, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. When upright, the Knight of Cups implies you're about to receive good news on it, or an influx of inspiration. Move forward with your dream and remain open to exploring new passions as they emerge. Keep in mind, decisions you make now will come from your heart, not your head. How you feel will guide you into the next stage of your journey. Listen to your heart carefully and follow where it leads. Remember, you can only achieve your dream if you actively work towards it. Stay true to yourself. So yeah, oh, this is so beautiful. So I feel like you do have this capacity, Pile 4, and this is, trust me when I say, a rare commodity. This ability to trust yourself in new, or any, you know, romantic endeavor, to, you know, still have your own internal compass of like who you are, and not get like swept away in someone. Like not, that's, which is so funny, like, because you're like, well, I thought you just said this was romantic, Astro. Like, yes, like you follow that, but you're not always, you're staying present, right? You're not dedicated to a narrative. You're dedicated to you now. Does that make sense? I think it does. Like a narrative you've built in your head about somebody, where it's like, even if you had been with somebody for a decade, say, and, you know, things were just not working and you've tried everything, you aren't the person who's going to be like, I'm staying in this because it's already been so long and we've already been through so much. You're the person who's like, wow, this journey was amazing, and now it has to come to an end. You know what I mean? Like you are always true to yourself, which is such a beautiful thing to be, or framework to have, in terms of how you enter romantic relationships. What's interesting is the Six of Swords reversed right under the Two of Pentacles. So it's like this instability, resistance, floods. You're rocking the boat to create some sense of change. Things may be unstable for a time and you will slow to heal. No matter how long it takes to recover, give yourself time. This position may also signify a spiritual transition. Like the pinned anglerfish, you feel stuck and frustrated by a lack of growth, especially on a spiritual level. Have faith and be patient. Look for the positives and find value in the progress you've made, even if it isn't exactly what you've wanted. Interesting. So it's like, again, like maybe you have been like so true to yourself, and maybe things have not been working out for you romantically currently. And there's part of you that's like, well, I'm doing everything right. You know, maybe I have like a little boundary issue happening, but like I'm in a pretty good position. But like, especially with the Three of Swords reversed, it's like I keep getting in these situations where I am staying true to myself, and I kind of get not impaled, right? Like this little birdie's okay, but pretty freaking close. Like it's really scary and like ruffles your feathers and, you know, really throws you off balance, sort of thing. Like if you see how, let me show you. I don't know if you can see this right here, but the part of the tail is like about to get sliced off, and I feel like that longer part, like then it won't be equal, and it'll be kind of like throw off their flight pattern, right? Which is maybe something you've had to deal with, and that's why there has been some boundary issues in other levels of your life, pile 4. But what's so awesome is that you do have this gorgeous, gorgeous perspective that, like, yeah, maybe things aren't awesome right now. And that doesn't mean you're not in a relationship, but, like, you know, maybe, like, you are in a relationship or partnership and things have kind of been rough or whatever. But this 4 of Wands, like, says that, like, you have such, like, a gorgeous perspective on love that, like, yeah, you can have it all, which I hate using that term, but I've been using it fairly often. And all, I don't mean, like, you know, wife, husband, car, kids, work, blah, like, you know, all, whatever it all is to you. Maybe all is like me and this person living in a farm and having a bunch of dogs. Oh, that'd be awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that, if that's your all, that's, you can have that, is what you believe. And I think that's such a beautiful, honestly brave viewpoint to have. Yeah, when upright, the 4 of Wands is a celebration of joy and the wonderful facets of life that make everything worthwhile, right? Like I was saying, pile 4, you have such a healthy, I feel, relationship with negative feelings in the sense that, like, you're like, yes, I know they were kind of turbulent and obviously painful, but you're able to still, like, again, keep that inner compass and able to see, like, that, yes, these times I went through were really worth it. And again, that isn't to say if you were, like, in an unsafe situation, it was meant to happen. Not at all. Terrible things happen to people for no good fucking reason. And I'm sorry if that happened to you. You are here now, and you do have that ability to have this, like, vitality, this life. It's just so, so gorgeous. Yeah, be proud. You've accomplished a great deal and have earned this time to reconnect with what is most important to you. As long as you feel secure and loved, there's no wrong way to enjoy this newfound sense of security your hard work has brought you. That's gorgeous, pile 4. Sorry, I'm just, like, just looking at this. I'm like, it's such a pretty spread. Even if these two might feel a little scary, pile 4. Let's close your reading with your empath activation card. And if you've been here before, you know this is one of my favorite decks because the art is created with the intention of, you know, acting as like a sigil and, like, igniting the energy within the viewer. So let's see what this bad boy is for you. Star bathing. Pretty. So what's so interesting, pile 4, about this, it's like, you know, this is part of, like, quote unquote, your soul's mission, or that's not your language, you know, part of what you are learning from these habits or patterns is this ability to, how do I phrase it? I'm going to read from the book because I'm just at a loss for words right now, pile 4. Because I'm like, I want to say, like, oh, it's like, you know, you need to disconnect, but not all the way. And I'm like, how do I articulate that? Although the stars are ever present, your ability to see them at night provides a visible portal through which you can connect to your celestial essence, your star relatives, and your galactic guides. You are now being asked to commune with your celestial kin to receive vital light codes as well as to raise your vibrational frequency. So, right, that's what I mean by unplugging, but not all the way. It's unplugging from kind of maybe like some busyness to kind of reconnect with yourself in a higher capacity. Yeah, this oracle is confirmation that your operating system is ready for an upgrade on one or more levels: biological, physiological, mental, energetic, spiritual, emotional, physical, and etheric. Your system has begun to run sluggishly. You might be experiencing fatigue, overwhelm, or slow mental processing, right? Especially a little bit here. Just like a computer, the celestial upgrade will help your system run more efficiently and handle the higher and more potent frequencies of light coming into the planet. Time is speeding up. The collective human frequency is rising at a faster rate. These celestial upgrades are necessary for you to operate effectively as you walk in your sacred purpose. Know without a doubt that your star relatives are seeking active relationship with you and have messages they wish to transmit. Spend time journaling, seed your dream time, or use meditation to connect with the essence of these celestial beings. So yeah, well, it's so interesting, Pile 4, because I feel like it's like while you've done an excellent job of like front-facing love, and that isn't to say it's not authentic or genuine, like of like giving to people, there's still a little bit of time you need to take for yourself to really move forward and, you know, have this idealistic version of love be an actual reality. Like, because it is, especially under the high priestess, like with the star bathing, it's like something that it's like something you knew but you just forgot, right? Pile 4. And I think that's such a cool feeling to have, like just knowing that you just need to listen, which I know as somebody who likes to pace around my apartment most of the day can be infuriating. But when I get frustrated like that, I try to frame it like, oh my God, I already know it. I just have to let it come to me. How cool is that? No effort. Let yourself do that, maybe, Pile 4. I'm not saying disconnect from everything, obviously, you know, I'm saying in like a meditative way. But yeah, in that Pile 4, thank you so much for being here. That concludes your What is Your Perspective on Love reading. I hope it brought some clarity or insight or joy to your day. It definitely did that for me. And if you could just do me a solid and like, comment, share, subscribe, you know the drill. It helps me and the channel. And I like doing this, and I hope you like listening and or watching to it too. So until next time, Pile 4, I will see you next time. Bye.